Hi there, Elise Dewsberry here from New Musicals Inc. with the 96th of my video blogs about how to get no feedback from Elise, starting my new season. And I wanted to start today by saying to you all, don't wait. So one of the things that happens, of course, to all musical theater writers is you're toiling away on your work. You finish a musical, and now you're trying to figure out how to get it out there into the world, and it's not easy. And so what I'm going to suggest to you, at least to get started, is don't wait to find some producer who is going to be willing to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into your show for a full-fledged production. I am not by any means saying don't try for that. Keep trying for it. Someday, hopefully, it will happen. What I'm saying is don't wait. There are some other things that you can do. One of the easiest ones is, of course, go on and write something else and just keep going. But with the musical you've written that you're in love with, that you want to get out there into the world, I want to give you just a handful, just three actually, ideas about how other ways that you might be able to get it out there into the world. That don't mean that it can't someday live on a Broadway stage with millions of dollars behind it, but these are ways that might help you feel a little bit more proactive while you're on your way there. Okay, so just three, and there are probably many, many more possibilities. One thing that I'm going to suggest is self-produce at a fringe festival. Most major cities across the country have some kind of a fringe festival. And it's usually much, much cheaper to produce at a fringe festival. And the expectations at a fringe festival are that your audience is not expecting fancy sets and costumes and lights because it's a fringe festival. And therefore, I think it's the perfect place to develop a show and say this is a workshop production. Don't call it a world premiere. Say it's a workshop production. If you don't want to self-produce, even though this would be a cheaper way to do it, there are people in each of these cities that have fringe festivals that make a living off of producing people's shows. So it might still cost you a bit of money, but you might be able to get someone else to actually produce it for you. So that's one thing to consider. An example of how that's worked, one of our NMI writers, Michael Gordon Shapiro, has had a couple of his musicals produced at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. We co-produced them with him, NMI did, and so we helped make them happen at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. The second one that he had there, Gideon and the Blundersnorp, won Best Musical of the Hollywood Fringe Festival that year, which I believe was 2021. Now, since then, in addition to having a fabulous production that was a lot of fun and tons of great reviews and some video footage, Michael was also able to parlay that into several subsequent productions, and that's still going. He gets new productions all the time of the show. So it was a great way to get the word out and get people, like a proof of concept, to get people to be willing to produce the show, and it's continued to be produced. So that's one way. Another way, which I think is even more affordable and doable, is an audio podcast. What this means, podcasts are very popular these days. And I know that many of the podcasts these days, you see people sitting at a table with headphones on and there's a video component to it, which sort of, to me, defeats the whole purpose. A podcast is meant to be more like I think, like a radio play. So you're listening to it, and there are still plenty of places where you can listen to it. Now, I think the idea of musical podcasts is ripe for the picking and hasn't been done too much. There is one out there that I'm sure there's more than one, but there's one particular one quite well done that I know of that's called The Ballad of Anne and Mary, and it's by Longcast Media. You can find it on Spotify and lots of other places. And, you know, it's a full-fledged musical, many voices, sound effects, the works. And so that's an example of how exciting a project can be when it's an audio podcast. This year, for example, for our core curriculum, we're planning on doing our 15-minute musicals at the end of the season as audio podcasts. And that's part of the reason why I want to do that, because I think it gives the writing team an actual product. Because when it's wonderful when we produce them in a theater and nothing ever, you know, is the same as a theater production. But the only people who get to experience it properly are the ones who are actually in town, available that night to buy a ticket and be there in the house. And nobody else gets to see it, even though we video them. Videoing a theater production is not the way it's meant to be seen, and so it's never going to do it justice. So I think this is a way of having something affordable. You can do this on your own. Many people have their own home studios where you can record the audio for this. You can find sound effects. You can usually find actors who will do this inexpensively. if not as a favor, because you're not asking them to memorize and come to rehearsals and memorize something and learn choreography. It's a couple of voice calls to record the music and the audio. So it's affordable and doable. It's a way to get your stuff out there, and maybe it will catch someone's eye and make them want to invest that hundreds of thousands of dollars in getting your production on stage. But it's something that you can be proactive about. And then the third thing I want to talk about is just think outside of the box. There are other ways to get stuff out there. It may not be your full-length musical. You could do something animated. You could do a short. You could do a trailer or a sizzle reel or any way of getting stuff out there. One crazy example that I just got such a kick out of when someone sent this to me, which is really thinking outside of the box, and you can find this on YouTube. Look it up. Look it up under the name would be Where is Bed? You can find that on YouTube. And it's literally a musical, it's a filming of something from the Melbourne International Comedy Festival of a comedian by the name of Lou Walls, who made a PowerPoint presentation and a musical out of a Facebook marketplace posting gone wrong. And it is hysterical. And again, completely out of the box. And it's only a handful of minutes long. But it's out there, and somebody might, Lou. I wouldn't be surprised if people would approach her to write a book and lyrics or to collaborate on something else, because she's shown her talent and her comic style and her ability to musicalize something. So what I'm basically trying to say is, keep trying to get your show on Broadway, and I wish you luck, and I hope you get many productions on the way there. In the meantime, don't wait. Find other ways to get your work out there, get yourself known as a writer, and create a buzz about not just your show, but about you as a writer and your team. Okay, so don't wait, get out there, do it right now. That's it for now. So toodaloo.